Now it's working. Good evening. I don't know. I don't know why the microphone just decided to not be linked anymore. It just chose not to be. But good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, Captain Mannerings. Good evening, Yamel Angmar. Good evening, Peter. Good evening, Dahi. Good evening, Peter. Again. Good evening, Rock Golem. Plopsicorn. Mark Watson. Beardhammer Wargaming. Good evening, Swarm. Captain Mannerings again. Good evening, Mr. Gwatkin. Good evening, Reza. I hope you are all well. I hope you are all happy. I hope you are all good out there on this lovely, slightly chilly Wednesday evening. Good evening, Dave. Good evening, Winchester. Moon Cotton. Morning. Love your sweater. Thank you very much. I got it from Marks and Spencer's. It's very nice and cozy. Good evening, Velo Norfolk. I hope we are all happy. Guys, this week marks the 3-year anniversary of Alice and I moving into the flat that we're in. And it was the beginning, really, of the decision that this YouTube thing might have some legs. Maybe it's not just a phase. Maybe people actually might use YouTube. Maybe we could do something with it. So I decided I was going to do this full time. And here we are, 3 years later. Many videos in the last 3 years. Many subscribers, many likes and comments, and amazing people we've met, and I've made what I feel like a bunch of awesome friends. Everybody here right now viewing this stream, you are all my friends, and it's absolutely incredible. Good evening, Thierry. Conic Melter, hello. Philip, thank you very much. It is an amazing feat. Dave, good evening. Robbie, good evening. Teed, you used to work from M&S. That's awesome. I used to just not even consider M&S as like a clothing place, which sounds weird. As I became an adult, I was like, nah, bro, I only wear branded merch. But as an adult, I'm like, do you know what? They're probably just the best place to go. So, you know, I'm just like, we went and I bought this jumper. I bought some other clothes as well. And I'm going to buy some more from there. You know, it's all good. Rock Golem dropping a 25 euros. I owe you 2 whole army painting recipes, the spooky style Admech and the Cruel Boys, plus my baseline approach to using contrast paints, which I applied to a lot of stuff, both in AOS/Warhammer 40k and elsewhere. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. But you owe me nothing. I'm glad I could help. I'm glad you have 2 painted armies, and I'm glad that anything that I could do to make painting more enjoyable for you, or more effective for you, is useful for you. That's all the thanks I need. But thank you very much for the 25. Those are the kinds of thanks that I really appreciate. That's very kind of you. Thank you. You're alright, I guess. Yeah, Rez. Yeah, I guess. Sort of alright, you know. Not the best, not the worst. Congrats on the milestone. Glad you're at it. Oh, thank you, John. Thank you. Nah, I hate them for clothes. Had a t-shirt that was not cleaned of the bleach in it. That hurt. Ugh. Oh, Captain Mannerings. That sounds horrible. Maybe I shan't endorse Marks and Spencer's then. No idea how you knock all those models out so quickly. Well, and this is the thing, right? Is Legions of... I thought I wasn't going to hit 500 for the year. I genuinely thought, like, there's no chance. I've been going a little bit slower, if that makes sense, because we've been painting a lot more. There's been a lot more complicated models this year. So like the year before did 525. Year before that did 506. This year I was like, no, I'm not going to make 500. And then Legions Imperialis happened. And Legions Imperialis was 80-ish. Where it's, what I got painted of it was 70, 71, 72 of all the models that I had at my disposal there. And that was a huge bump in the numbers, right? So now I'm currently sat on 470 something like that. So it's taken me over 1500. Basically, I need to knuckle down for the last 6-7 weeks of the year and get the last 50 models done to put me over 500 for the year. 500 feels like a good amount. I mean, 365 is usually my goal, at least one model a day, but one day I'll get 600 done. Believe it or not, that helped me hang on through some very rough times. 2021, 2022 were not kind in any way. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Rock Golem. I am sorry to hear that. I'm very glad that I was able to be there for you, and I will always be there for you. I will always be there for all of you. My content will as well, at least, and I'm always here. This is always a safe space. If ever anyone's going through anything tough, this is always a safe space. Where you can just be surrounded by like-minded, wonderful folks. And always remember that I love you. You know, I got a lot of love to share. And you've got some of it. Finished my Olfen watch following your tutorial, but tweaking it a bit. It's like teamwork. Well, there you go. Exactly, Swarm. We are tag teaming on your models. I'm helping you with my ideas. You are then taking those ideas, tweaking them slightly to be more to your taste. And then at the end of it, you're like, cool, I've got a model I'm really proud of. And it took me less time than I thought it would. I'm glad I could help. Good evening, Myrtle Turtle. He is a fiend, a painting fiend. He uses the warp to bend time. No, what I don't do is sleep very often. I get my incredibly healthy 6 hours a night. And then I get on with it. Happy 3rd anniversary bombardment! Thank you very much, Big Bad Peter Gaming. Thank you very much for being a member for 4 months. You're a lad. You're a hero. Thank you. And yeah, 3rd anniversary of us living together. This Alice and I didn't live together before this, and we moved in here together. This was the first time I've lived with a significant other, and you know it was the best decision I've ever made. Well, we've ever made. Obviously, I didn't just make that decision on our behalf. We're doing this, but I don't want to. Tough. No, I'd just come from living in London throughout pretty much the entirety of the pandemic, and that made me kind of figure a lot of very different things, right? I was like, look, I can't. My entire priorities in life have changed now as a consequence of this. So yeah, this is where we wanted to get to, was doing this full time to pay the bills, and it's what we do now because of people like Big Bad Peter Gaming, who's just gifted 10 Warhipster memberships like an absolute lad. Thank you very much. Hey, look at that. 269. We got the number already. Hey. Philip, I just got Archaon yesterday. Can't wait to follow your tutorial, buddy. Currently following your Angron one. Oh, wow. I enjoy it, because Archaon's the best model that I've ever painted, and I love it, and I adore it. I don't know where I'd be without it, because it's just one of my favourite. It is like kind of the model that my entire collection revolves around. I love it so much. That might be replaced, of course, though, by the Warhound Titan, which is very nearly here. Those are insane numbers. Yeah. no sleep, and a desire to please. I'm hoping to see more 40k orcs in the future. It will happen, Moon Cotton. It will happen. I'm waiting to find out. They said that the next codex, the Orcs Codex, isn't far away now, so keep your eyes peeled for a bunch of Orcs content when that's on its way. Thanks to your contrast tutorials, I have a big Rohan army, plus World Eaters and Stormcast Eternals painted, which I barely managed to do one army in a year, and those helped me through difficult times. Oh, well, I'm glad I could. Again, I'm really glad I could help, Martin. I'm envious that you have a big Rohan army, because I don't have a big Rohan army, and I want one. Well, I do have a big Rohan army, but like a lot of them were painted when I was 16, and they look terrible. So I'd have to strip them. So there's a bunch of stuff I need to do to make that better. It's such a good viewpoint. Teamwork. Yeah, teamwork. It makes the dream work, and it makes your hobby sing. I'm working on my apothecary with your tutorial, then going to tackle L. Johnson. Can't wait for your Usharan. It will be a wild one. Yeah, no, I can't wait to get my hands on Usharan. Old Usharan the Fell Omen. That's not his full proper name, but... foul tarnished, smouldering with thy meagre flame. Oh, man. As soon as... it was pointed out online that it looks like it comes from Elden Ring. I was like, there you go. It is. It's Margit the Fell Omen. And I was like, yep. Foul tarnished. Oh, man. Thank you for your hard work. I'm so addicted to your videos. I can spend hours and hours just watching and trying to learn how to control contrast paints. Oh, you're very welcome, Yayi. My kids gave me a cold and then I developed shingles on my leg. I'm thinking the path of Nurgle is not the best. No, it's not the best. It's not the best way to live. Having come through the vid myself very recently, it reminded me that Nurgle's teachings are not the one. Good evening, Scarbrand. Myrtle's Turtles. Finished my characters for this month's Tale of Many Warhipsters. Even opened some 2001 to 2004 blisters. Finally tackling the bottom of the pile. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, why would you tantalize me with that? You need to look after yourself more. That should be your new aim. It is my new aim, Rez. It is. Next year, I'm going to look after myself. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to have a good time. Usharan, that's going to be tasty. Yeah, I'm hoping. I've looked at the pictures. I'm thinking about it. Like Nighthaunt Gloom, maybe with some Drakenhof Nightshade or some Null Oil over the top. That ought to do it. That ought to do it just absolutely nicely. That might look absolutely fantastic. Unilateral decisions are the best. No, not in this house. We don't do unilateral decisions unless it's about dinner and I decide I want McDonald's, and then a unilateral decision is made. Captain Mannerings, thank you very much for being a member for 7 months. For the hippest of Warhipsters, congrats, you legend. That's very kind of you. You are a legend that we can only speak about in hushed whispers or loud shouts when we're on the stream. This community really got me motivated to paint again, so thanks. Oh, you're very, very welcome. Laura, evening. Good evening to you. Happy Hipsterversary. Across the Hipsterverse, it is the Hipsterversary. Warhound Titan in Blood Angels adjacent colours. Unfortunately, Winchester, no. I will be doing it in the colours of Legio Solaria. So there will be some Blood Angels adjacent colours in the form of some red. But I will be painting it the same way I did the Warhound Titans from Legions Imperialis. The only difference is I'm probably going to try and do it in a single 24-hour sitting, and I'm probably going to try and live stream the whole endeavour. And what I might even do is try and raise a bit of money for some charity or something. But we'll cross that bridge once I get it in my hands and I figure out whether or not it's possible to do it in 24 hours. Because it may not be. It's purring away here, looking longingly at its new home on the TV. Exactly, Peter. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. You gave back the joy of painting. Happy 3rd year. Oh, thank you, Yamail Angmar. And thank you very much for being a member for 8 months. Josh, what do you think of the new Flesh Eater Court's Monarch? I really love it. I think everything they've shown so far of the Flesh Eaters is unbelievable. Once again, Games Workshop just taking the mick with how good their Age of Sigmar range is. Once again, there is no question about how good that range is, and you cannot predict what it's going to be. You know, you look at Flesh Eater Courts. What did anyone out there expect? Judge Gormain, whatever his name is. Did anyone expect Usharan? I mean, sort of. There were a lot of hints about him, but like, did anyone expect it to look the way it did? No. If I told you there's going to be some new Space Marines, you're like, cool. I know what they're going to look like. They'll be blue, and that'll be cool. Following your More Grunter tutorial at the moment, going well so far. Awesome, Winter. How easy is it to paint epic Horus Heresy with contrast? It's very easy. Very easy. It's actually easier than doing with normal base and layer paints. It's really that simple. For the last month and a bit, I have been working on my Rotmire Creed, and once I do my last one, it will be my first fully finished project. That's awesome, Conic Melter. That is awesome to hear. Good evening, Abdul Al-Hazred. Sorry, almost misread you. We met Liam at Warhammer World last week, and he was talking about how lovely a human you are. Aw, Liam is also a lovely human. We were at Warhammer World the following day. Well, no, we were on there on the Saturday, but we were travelling up on the Friday. I saw that he was travelling up on the Thursday. And I was like, damn it! I unfortunately couldn't get up there early enough to have changed my plans to go up to Celium because I had to do the Legion's Imperialis sprue review video. Which, by the way, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody out there who's watched that and who's into that. I didn't know if Legion's Imperialis was going to be popular, but you guys convinced me to do it. So I did it, and you've received it really well. So just from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much to everybody who supported that video and the 24-hour painting video. They are the two most successful videos of the last 10 by some distance. So thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Contrast on Epic is ideal. Indeed it is. Thinking maybe with a little dry brushing involved. It almost doesn't need it, Martin, with some of them. You could add some dry brushing, and I did contemplate it. I probably won't do it because on that scale, maybe on like the Kratos it would work, but when it gets down to the little tiny men's, it actually becomes quite difficult to dry brush it accurately. So on the tanks, probably it can work. And certainly on things like the Baneblade, you could do line highlights because it is that big. We can do some size comparisons. I can show you how big they are live in a little bit if that's what you guys would like to see. And if you really want, we can probably do something like paint a rhino. We could probably do something like that as a salamander. That's something we could probably do. We can even have a look at some sprues if you want, because I've still got the infantry sprues. I can show you those again if you would like to see that. We can do that. Where are we? You are the best. Oh, thank you, Lubomir. Path of Corn is definitely the way to live, especially if you had to deal with the underground on a daily basis. Yes, 100%. 100% Scarbrand. You are on point there. Definitely look after yourself. I try, Mr. Gwatkin. I try. I'm going to try harder next year. I did my first bit of looking after myself today. We went for a walk. It wasn't very long. Went for a 15-minute walk-ish. Because I had to go to the post office and send some things to America. But we did it. Good evening, Vicious Goose. Hope you're well. The Chaos Cultist video with all the skin tones seems to have clicked something into place for me with contrast paints. Thanks for that one. Oh, you're very welcome, John. I'm glad I could help. And I'm glad it's clicking. I'm glad I could help with that one. Because I think everybody finally gets their model where it does eventually click, how it works. I think a lot of people start with Space Marines, and it's tough because they've got all those smooth armor plates and things. So it takes a little bit of while of practice with that. But for something like skin, it's just better to use contrast paints for those anyway, because it just goes so much quicker. And you don't have to do any highlights on them, really. Not really. It still looks fabulous. I know it might be maybe a lot to ask, but I would love to see some Night Lords maybe on the Titan. A Night Lord's Titan. I mean, I'm gonna make a guess. I'm not sure if they will, but they might send me that kill team that we saw previewed. And if they do, you'll definitely get some Night Lords then. 100%. I could paint a Night Lord being squished by a Titan. AOS greater than 40k. Captain Mannerings, you know how to... Don't threaten me with a good time. We could talk about that for a while. I think it was keeping the edge of paint coverage live. Oh, yeah. There you go. It makes sense. The AOS stuff was great. Yeah, it is. Good evening from Ireland. Good evening to you, Royal Wargaming. Not gonna lie, expected FEC Mortark to be bigger. I think he's going to be bigger than he looks. I would guess he's probably going to be about the same base size as something like Catacross, and he might be as tall minus the spear, but we'll find out, I guess. He looks hench. He has a whole video repainting LI. What do you mean, Captain Mannerings? Have I missed something there? Kingslaying Rex. Thank you very much for becoming a member. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are now on 270. Let's go, baby. Can we break 300 tonight? Once again. First, congratulations on the anniversary. And yeah, personally, I think the new FEC stole the preview show. Just give me that box. I know, right? I mean, they keep doing it, right? They keep going, hey guys, are you excited for this thing from 40k? And you go, yes, looks pretty cool. Okay, now we're going to absolutely piss all over that with this thing from Age of Sigmar. And you go, guys, stop putting the two things in the same preview. I feel like we should go back to having AOS previews and having 40k previews. Because at the moment, it just makes the 40k stuff look bad. I mean, this one was better, don't get me wrong. Asmodai and the Deathwing Terminators look great. They do. But the Flesh Eater Court stuff being in the same video, it's like... it's just not fair on the Deathwing. It's not fair, you know? 3 Necron HQs is coming this week. They are. As is the Stiltman. You convinced me in Legions Imperialis. Ah, good. I'm way behind on the chat. Oh my goodness me, what's happened? Ricky Colebrook, thank you very much for being a member for 6 months. Kurt, thank you very much for being a member for 9 months. We have given birth to our Warhipster baby together. Thank you very much. Good evening, Lehman Russ. Hey, us older players miss Epic. I played Epic a little while when I was very, very young. And I really enjoyed it. It was great. It's a great time. Great time had by all. Oh my god. Okay, that's what happened. John McCardle dropping a 50 memberships. Oh my god. John, thank you. Thank you very much. That surely breaks the 300. Has anyone seen the pricing of the new Fulgrim on Forge World? Damn, yeah. Afternoon from Canada, would you ever consider painting Nagash? Yes, I would. I will get him. John, man. 50 memberships. That's amazing. Thank you. That is incredible. It's very, very kind of you. Thank you. Just as Warhipster said, can we break 300? You guys are legends, man. John, you're an absolute boss. Thank you so much. It's very, very, very kind of you. It's exceptionally kind of you. I will never, ever, I don't think ever in my life, get used to that kind of generosity. Ever. Yeah, Reza, it was a thing. A long time ago. It was a very, very, very long time ago that Epic was a thing. But it used to be like, there was loads of stuff that was in Epic, so Epic wasn't just Horus Heresy contained. It was there are things, I think Orcs and Eldar and things were involved in it as well. Oh my god, the generosity continues. Vicious Goose with the 20. Thank you for all your hard work. You know how much we appreciate you and know how hard you grind. P.S. John, 50 subs? What a legend. Exactly. Exactly. Congrats on 3 years. Thank you, David Callier. Yeah. My my train of thought has wobbled. Goodness me. That's 61 new members in this stream. That's lovely. That's really lovely. Can we break 350? Can we break 400? I had the old Epic set with Demon Angron. Yeah. So Demon Angron has appeared before, only in Epic form. I only have one problem with your Legions Imperialis videos. I was very sure I didn't want it. Now I'm very sure I do. And congratulations on the hipster anniversary. It's a good problem. Wow. Yeah, I can only apologize for causing that problem for you. It is good. It is good fun. It is good fun. I think I said in the video, it makes you feel mighty whilst holding that amount of models and whilst looking at that amount of models in your hands. Or indeed before you on the feeling emotional. It's like, yes, I am. It's thrown me. So like that's a rhino, and you guys know how big my hands are. It's barely the size of a thumb, and it is very, very, very cool. Do you think you only painted 1.5k points of minis in 3 years? Better than most, though, since Viking. It's a bit more than 1.5k points. Just a touch. Do you 3D print? I don't mean GW, of course, but in general. No, I don't. I don't own a 3D printer. Don't get me wrong. If someone wanted to sit down with me and, like a real enthusiast, wanted to sit down with me and show me the benefits of, you know, things that you can do with a 3D printer and stuff like that, I would happily sit down and experience that and learn that kind of thing. I would never use it. I don't think I would ever use it to print models. But maybe like terrain and things like that. But it's not something I want to invest my limited funds in. So I would need an enthusiast to come and sit with me and teach me and give me a printer. Tim Chaser, congrats on the 3 years. Here's hoping for many more to come. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. We're going to go for 3 or 4 more. I mean, so the other thing I really like about Legions Imperialis, I really enjoy things like the Kratos. I mean, it is just the right size, and I like doing this. I like being able to hold multiple of them in my hands, and I think it's fun, and they're just really detailed. They're really cool little models, and actually, I'm excited to see what else they do with it, because we've seen some previews. I think for me, I would really like to get some planes. I'd like to get the Thunderhawk and stuff like that, as preparation for when I do a proper large Thunderhawk, obviously. But I'd like to see things. I'd like to see a Stormbird in this scale as well, because they are just that much bigger. And then I would like them to stop focusing on the Horus Heresy quite as much, and I'd like them to bring some other stuff into it. That is, I think, the main feedback I would give a game like that is, it would be awesome to have Eldar, Orcs, and so on and so forth appear in the game. Are you going to learn magic tricks to do with the little tanks? Yes. I'm going to produce them from behind kids' ears. It's the type of thing you could do very easily. You just go, what's that behind your ear? Oh, look, it's a tiny rhino. You get to keep that. That's the beginning of your journey into Warhammer. What paint would you use for Flesh Eater Quartz Flesh? And here's hoping for updated ghouls and zombie dragon. So I've done 2 videos on Flesh Eater Quartz already. We've done the Abhorrent Ghoul King with the Crown of Delusion and the Marrow Scroll Herald. So those are probably what I would do, but there is different what they're called. So you've got the different like processions or whatever they're called. I'm not sure what they're called in Flesh Eater Quartz. You've got more Gaunt, you've got Gristle Gore, and then some others that I can't remember. Essentially, there's one that I know that you can do really effectively by using a combination of Agrax Earthshade and Seraphim Sepia, and you'll get that kind of more sort of browny flesh. There's the green sort of deathly flesh, which is what I've done on the Marrow Scroll Herald and the Abhorrent Ghoul King with the Crown of Delusion. Then there's the slightly bluer one, which I'm veering towards thinking that it's Nighthaunt Gloom shaded with Null Oil or Drakenhof Nightshade. Can't figure out which just yet. And then layered it up with some other colours. And then you could always go for a slightly redder version where you use something like Guilliman Flesh all over and then shade it in various places with Carroburg Crimson. I think that gives 4 really good Flesh Eater Quartz recipes. What I will do, I'll try to find the time to do, is if they send me the box, I'll try and paint various ghouls in various different skin tones to cover all 4 of the kind of 4 or 5, I think it is, main Flesh Eater Quartz things. That way you get a bunch of different ideas. Proper big nids at a tiny scale. Yeah, see, I'd like that. I hope there's vodka in that Coke. No, there's wine in a can. No, it's not. Oi, oi, Savaloy. Oi, oi yourself, Mark Reed. Yeah, welcome to a life of spending your money on plastic. Exactly. Quartz. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense, wouldn't it, Adam? I'm an idiot. Kill Team Night Lords, will you be painting them soon? If Games Workshop sends them to me, I shall paint them. That is my promise to thee. Hey Josh, I dropped you a message on Instagram, but I appreciate you are mega busy. Oh, sorry Jimmy, I didn't see it. Was just wondering if you had tried your method of Black Templar contrast over purple or with Leviathan or Luxion. Do you know? Yes. I have. And it works. It works just fine. It's a little bit dark over Leviathan, because Leviathan is quite dark. So you might want to just thin Leviathan 4-1. So 4 Leviathan purples to 1 contrast medium or Lamia medium, whichever you prefer. Just to make sure that you get that really nice purple tone that Leviathan purple has in it. It absolutely works over Luxion, though. Yeah, that definitely does. It's the same as it works over Shaiish purple, right? 100%. And you can still highlight it the same way with Demonette Hide and Slaanesh Grey, I think is what I did before. AJ, thank you very much for the 20. 3 years has gone quick. Congrats. It has. It has, hasn't it? 3 years is crazy, man. So I got an old 40k second edition box set. Think I'm going to use your Space Wars recipe on the Retro Marines. Think that would work, right? Yeah, 100% it would. Anybody got tips for painting orange? I want to slap chop Ionis Cryptborn, but I'm not color to pre-shade before applying the orange. Which orange are you thinking? Because Magmadroth Flame is almost a one coat, a single pigment solution. So it goes on very easily. But it's not quite... Are you looking for like a fiery orange or like a kind of deeper orange? What sort of orange are you looking for? Thanks a lot. I don't own Shaiish, so was looking for a suitable alternative. Appreciate it. Oh, you're very welcome. There you go. Yeah, no, any purple should work. The only ones that won't really work are Magos purple because it's not dark enough. You'll end up doing 2 layers of Black Templar and then you kind of lose that tone of purple. But Shaiish or Leviathan or Luxion should work. Would you still use gold, then Baal Red for Thousand Suns at Legion's Imperialis scale? No. So what I would do at Legion's Imperialis scale is I would do gold, but I would use Blood Angels Red, because it's less oppressive than Baal Red, because you want that shininess to come through. So I would use Blood Angels Red instead of Baal Red at that scale because it is that small. I would even contemplate doing Liberator Gold rather than Retributor, although that would be annoying because you'd have to do 2 layers of Liberator because it's not as strong a paint as Retributor. But yeah, no, I would recommend using Blood Angels Red because it is a little bit, it's more contrasty than Baal Red is. Congrats from Sweden. Sitting and taking some mold lines off the Destinies expansion Witchwood. Small as... I don't know those ones. Martin, Josh, I've loved this live stream, but I have to go as I have work in a bit. Cheers, mate. See you all soon. Proper bummed. Oh, I'm sorry you have to go to work tomorrow. If it's any consolation, I have to go to work after the live stream. And by go to work, I mean continue working. I've got some more videos to make. All that good stuff. I've actually been working on... I've fancied a little bit of a palette cleanser, so I've been working on Cypher today. I got him to the stage where I'm only like 3 or 4 paints away from Warhipster battle ready. And then we went for dinner. Well, had our dinner. So, yeah. I'm going to get him done. Then I got some other stuff to do. Hopefully get him finished tonight. That would be nice. The next stage. What would you suggest to add purple tones to flesh? Thinking of my Tyranids and adding interest to the flesh areas. So Druchii Violet, the new Druchii Violet, is very good at adding a purple tone into flesh. If you don't want it to be like a purple, you can go for Berserker Bloodshade, because it's slightly redder, but it's got more of a pink hue to it. Berserker Bloodshade absolutely works by just adding that. It kind of is like a faux purple. If none of those work, then adding a little bit of Magos purple here and there absolutely just adds that kind of subtle bruising. Anything stronger than that, and you're turning it purple. When's the vlog video coming out? Yes, I need to edit that. That's my plan to do after I've painted. So at the moment, I don't have anything. I don't have anything scheduled really for the whole of December. In terms of my workload. So my plan is to get that out in December. And that way, I've got a video to cover me for a week. I'm hoping it's good. Are you thinking of doing the big fleshy Chaos Torment soon by any chance? Yeah, so that's what I mean. I don't have anything scheduled in December currently. So December is when I'm gonna be finishing off things like Chaos Torments and stuff like that. Might even try and get the Varangard done as well. They will be a bit of an undertaking, but as has often been the case, I usually use that last 2 weeks of December to just be like, hey, what? Because I'm not doing anything. What can we do just for fun? So I end up doing things like, I mean, there was one year where I did, Oh, I just did a pile of really big miniatures at once. So there's things like Alariel might get done as well during the next month. Ooh, so demons in December then? Yeah, no. So that's something that we can also do. So stuff like the blood crushers and stuff like that. I'm excited for December because it's going to be nice to have a little bit of time back. Good evening, Adam. Hey, sweetie. How are you? Hi from Belarus. I don't think we've ever had someone from Belarus in the chat before. Good evening, Grumsh. Or Groomsh. Painting Studio. I hope I'm saying that right. The cool thing about Alariel is I now know how I'm going to do it because I've done Belthanos. I'm gluing Ionis Cryptborn together. Oh, Rez. Isn't it the best? We are, I think Mr. Gwatkin says, 10 away from the magic number. Indeed we are. We are, well, less now. 8 or 9 likes away from the magic number. Can we get there? Spite Rider Lancers. Yep, we can get them. We can try and get them done. I'm just kind of in my head trying to create a list of all the things that I want to do in December. And then hopefully nothing comes up. Adam, who knows? We'll find out. But here's the question. I think we've hit the magic number for likes. Congrats on 3 years. Thank you, Kataro. Thank you. But here's the question. Can we find 49 new members to take us to 369? Can we do that? That would be a big milestone. Adrian, thank you very much. What colours are you thinking for the Summer King? Ah, yes. Did I say hello to you already, Chris? You jumped in and said hello. I'm not sure if I said hello. But hello, Chris. What colours are you thinking for the Summer King? I'm going to have a proper look at him now. Should we do that together? Usharan, the Summer King. Let's look at him together, shall we? I want this one. There we go. Okay. So now I need to jump in to studio mode, go into the overhead, add a window capture, do that. Yeah, there we go. Bosh. And then I press this button. God darn it. Should be back. Is it back? Is it back? Oh, God. It's just... Do you know what's happened? Is Discord has just decided... Discord has just decided that it's going to change all of my settings. It's just going to revert things to defaults, which it shouldn't do, but it's just going to do that. So that's fun. Anyway, what I was saying... What I was saying is the skin around here is Usharan a vampire. He is indeed one of the original 12 vampire lords from the old world. Anyway, so the what I was saying is that this skin around here. So initially it looks like Griff Charger Grey. But it's not. It's darker than Griff Charger Grey. But that doesn't mean that Griff Charger Grey isn't involved. So what I'm thinking is around here, this to me looks like it's sort of like a pale green. So actually maybe that is something like Poxwalker. So I think, yeah, I think that's kind of maybe like Poxwalker or perhaps... whatever it was I did for the Ideneth flesh, which I can't remember. Mortarian Grime, maybe? Something like that. Anyway, I think it then blends into Griff Charger Grey, and then this darker section round here, this to me looks like Nighthaunt Gloom. And then in the recesses we have Nuln Oil or Drakenhof Nightshade is what I'm thinking. The red on his cloak to me looks like the same colour as Ionis Cryptborn's dragon, so Bile Red followed by Volupus Pink over the top of it. All of this around here is a form of brown. I haven't decided what, but probably most likely Wildwood. Got the skulls and things like that in there. It's very cool. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for Usharan. Obviously, once I get the model in my hands, I'll know for sure, because I'll have the picture like this. Because right now, you can't tell what the colour is there, because it'll look different to everybody based on your monitor settings or your TV settings. I've just seen. Are you in? Have you been told off by YouTube, Adam, for gifting memberships? Is that what's happened? But yeah, I mean, like, you see here how it's like just that little bit darker than sort of Griff Charger Grey, and see like under here, for example. That book is cool. So yeah, this Flesh Eater Court's skin here in the middle on these ghouls and over here. I've done this already on the Marrow Scroll Herald. So there's already a tutorial on how to paint them this way. And if I get them, I'll probably do that for some of them. In your opinion, how are AdMech units to build? Deloitte. AdMech units, they go one of two ways. They're either really easy or they're really annoying. So, like, the Skitarii Rangers and those guys, the Vanguard, I think they're what they're called. I always forget what they're called. They are pretty easy to a point, but then they're annoying with their cloaks because you have to line them up properly, and some of them are really easy to bend, so that they'll never properly line up, which is always frustrating. Whereas, like the Castellan robots, really easy to do, really easy to put together. The Cataphren breachers and destroyers, again, very easy to put together, although time-consuming because there's a lot more to them than you perhaps expect. But then, annoyingly, Onaga Jewel crawlers, really frustrating to put together. You want to have a look at the... I mean, this guy's clearly still screaming. Or it looks like he's still screaming. I mean, you would be, wouldn't you? You're being warned by a vampire. What did you think of the flappy bits on the Bat Riders? Let's have a look. What's going on in the Pariah Nexus? No one cares. Oh, has anybody seen these? I didn't know these were a thing. But these are sick. And I really want them. It's translucent plastic. How cool is that? Anyway. Where are we going? Load more. Oh, I mean... Bone Daddy. Oh, give me old world or give me death. Anyway, we're looking for flesh eater quartz. Must not get distracted. Don't get distracted. There we go. So yeah, we've got these guys. So you see, we've got that's like that sort of yellowy thing we was talking about. That to me is like a Mortarian grime. You could do that on there. Again, we've done this one before. That sort of greenish hue. I mean, it looks exactly like Mortarian grime. Flappy bits on the Morbeg Knights. I think they're alright. You'd struggle to fly with that. You know? This guy I love. I love the arm poking out of the face. Out of the mouth. I think that's fantastic. I'm super into these. They also don't look like they're too difficult to paint as well. They're a very muted colour palette, and it's fairly similar across all three. So it's like a nice brown with a slightly lighter brown on the back, and then you've got the black of the wing spines, and then you've got that kind of reddy brown going across the wing membranes. So one of the things I don't like about painting cavalry is often that if you just paint them all on the same horse, they look a bit silly. So it is what it is. This I love. This one I think of. I was saying to Adam and Rich at the weekend. You know my fascination with Castlevania as an army idea and using flesh eater quartz as the night creatures. This one to me, again, to me it's the night creature that has a chat with the bishop. We love you. That one. Ah. 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 And like this sort of thing, just the abhorrent cardinal, the royal decapitator, old Justice Gormain. And there they are. So if they send me this box, we'll do some different skin recipes. Cavalry is so time consuming. Yeah, it is, because it looks like it's 3 models, but it's actually 6. That's the problem with it, and they're much bigger. Same with like whenever there's a box of 5 cavalry, it looks like 5 models, but it's actually 10. So it takes you the same amount of time to paint 5 as it does 10. So it feels like it takes longer to paint them. It doesn't necessarily, but it takes. For example, you can probably paint a box of 5 cavalry in the same time it takes to paint 10 Space Marines. It's just you're painting 10 models basically at once. The ones I know off the top of my head are Morgaunt and Gristlegore. Gristlegore I know very well. All zombie dragons all the time, baby. Blood for the Blood God will see a lot of use for this army. Oh yeah, 100%. Hollow Morn. Yep, that's another one. Thank you, Adam. So here's the extent of. Hey yo. So I've done these two, the Mara Scroll Herald and the Ghoul King with the Crown of Delusion. If you would like to get a jump start, a head start on your Flesh Eater Courts, you absolutely can. Yeah, so those videos are currently already live. Alive. Those videos are already live, so you can see them here on YouTube. So this guy came out as part of Jerian's delegation, which is the first Dawnbringers. Well, it was in the first Dawnbringers book. I'm a big fan of this one. And this one came out a year ago, around Christmas. I'm a big fan. No, I will do my best not to convince you, Peter. Hey yo, 51,081 subscribers. Let's go, baby. If anybody out there knows 19 people, and those 19 people would like to subscribe to the channel, that'll put us on 51,100. Interestingly, if between now and the end of the year we had 19 subscribers, I will have doubled the size of my channel this year. Which would mean that if we did the same thing again next year, we would go over 100,000 subscribers. And you guys are all founders, right? You're part of the early adopters of Warhipster. I say that it's a 3-year-old channel. I mean, it's nearly 4 years old channel. It's just the year before that it was very I was doing it very part time. I'm going to attempt a display board in the new year. Have you ever thought about doing one? I have, yeah. What I need somebody who's very good at making custom terrain to sit with me and build how I want it to look. I can paint it, but I need somebody to sit with me and do that part with me. Not for me, but with me. Because I'm not as talented at that kind of thing. I mess things up all the time as I'm trying to do it, and I never buy spares. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to build a piece of terrain from scratch. I'm going to follow this guide. For this, you'll need this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I'll buy those things, but I'll buy enough to do the one thing, and then I mess it up, and then I stop. Can you give some insight on how sub numbers affect your income? Does twice as many subs mean ×2 the income for you? Freshwater Spaceman. Congratulations, by the way. In some ways, yes. So, the way it works is the bigger your channel, the more likely people are to get a push notification that a video of yours has gone out. If you double the size of your YouTube channel in terms of subscribers, then technically, yes. If say every video you put out, the same 2,000 people watch it from 50,000, then another 2,000 people, if you double the size of it, will add another 2,000 views to your videos. So your video gets 4,000 views in the first 10 hours or whatever. That then doubles your revenue effectively. Oh my god, are we being raided? Are we being raided by the man, the myth, the legend that is Mr. Liam Dempsey? Happy birthday from the Great Hall. It's happening. Trout is here. Member for 5 months. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness me. Oh, it's all the birthdays. Liam says you smell great. Does he? That doesn't sound like him. It sounds more likely that he said I smell bad. Happy birthday from the Great Hall raid. Tim Chaser, thank you very much. Stick Monkey, happy birthday from the Great Hall. Happy birthday from the Great Hall. Happy birthday from the Great Hall. Cursed Cowboy, John H, Don, and Scott GB. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I'm really excited for Liam. If he's here. I'm really excited for everybody out there who's a fan of Liam's, because you guys do not understand how incredible your content offering is going to be going forward. Based on the conversations I've had with Liam, he is just going to absolutely take off this next year. I'm so excited for him. I'm so excited for all of you out there, because it's going to be incredible. Oh my god. DKM2, thank you very much for the 2. Kianon, thank you very much too. Alchemy NZ, happy birthday from the Great Hall. Thank you. Barof's Forge, thank you. Jarl Grimnar, thank you for becoming a member. Didn't know you could raid in YouTube. You absolutely can. It's weird when because it doesn't give you a hey, you're about to be raided type thing, but it is possible. I just stream so late. Alex, thank you very much for the 2. Happy birthday from the Great Hall. Thank you very much. Liam, are you here, sir? Because you are an absolute. You are the Jarl of Jarls. I'm so excited for you, man. I think Liam has been a cornerstone of the YouTube community, but I think he's only going to become more of a pillar with the new studio and the plans that we've briefly talked about. And it's genuinely very exciting time. New studio looks sick. It just needs bunk beds. Very glad I found the channel. Contrast paints have been invaluable to get back into the hobby after 15 plus years, and your vids are a huge confidence boost. Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I'm very glad you found me. Sorry I didn't word that right last time on my phone. I own Magmadroth Flame and Gryph-hound Orange. I just wanted a tip on what colour to pre-shade with before applying the orange contrast. So I don't think you really need to pre-shade Magmadroth Flame, and you don't really need to with Gryph-hound Orange either because they're that thin. You could pre-shade just with Fuegan Orange first, because it's thin enough to get a nice smooth coat. You could try those. Try Fuegan Orange as a pre-shade, just to get an orange base coat down, and it will just mean anything that goes on it will be magnitudes darker. If Magmadroth Flame is going to be the final color that it's going to look like, Gryph-hound Orange going down first is your pre-shade. So in which case, you might want to thin down the Gryph-hound Orange just a little bit, so like a 4:1, as I often say, 4 parts the contrast paint to 1 part either Lamia medium or contrast medium, to get that nice smooth application down on the large areas, and then you move into the next color. Tim Chaser, thank you very much for becoming a member. Thank you. $3.22. I love to see it. Thank you for all your help with all these Imperial fists. Oh, you're very welcome, old greybeard. We shall see you in the Great Hall at some point. Yeah, Adam, should we plot plot a journey to visit the Great Hall and pillage? And by pillage, I mean, like, you know, hug. There's too much space in his new studio. You can't do enough damage in that much space. Whereas when the inevitable retaliatory raid or pillaging happens, it's very easy to damage everything in here very quickly. It's such a tiny little room. You can even see the mountain of boxes back here. I need to sort that out. The friendliest Vikings you've ever seen. Sound the horns. We're here to pay you compliments. Which contrast paints would you use on Night Lord's armor? That's a good question. I did do a Night Lord's video, and I can't remember what I did on them. I think I used Celestium Blue. Let me have a look. Warhipster Night Lords. Ayo. What did I do? I did Celestium Blue. I did indeed. I think I shaded it with Null Oil. I mean, Celestium Blue is a really, really nice paint. It's very good as a dark paint. You could go for something that's a little bit colder. Like by applying some Leviathan Blue, but it's too dark for them. You want them to be a little bit warmer, so you've got enough space to put the lightning on. Celestium Blue is probably the main paint I would use And it is what I did on my previous outing. So Celestian Blue. And I think I used Night Lord's Blue as like a glaze to just fix it if it needed it. Yeah, that is what I did. We shall absolutely figure it out properly, though, once the new Light Lords arrive, because they might have made them a little bit brighter in 40k, so we need to figure out what the actual paint scheme for it will be. It'll be easier to do it on Chaos Space Marines in some ways, because they've got all that trim. They've got a lot less large, wide-open panels. Yeah, I hadn't used Celestian Blue in a while, and then I used it on the Black Talons, and I was like, why have I not been using this paint more often? It's incredible. I've just had a look in. I've just seen Liam is still live. Guys, if you haven't already, please go and subscribe to Mr. Liam Dempsey. Here is his YouTube channel. I'm going to drop it in the chat. 3 times for you. If you haven't already, please do go and subscribe. Because he's an absolute legend. I'm across 2 chaps. I'm in the flipping multiverse here. You're holding it all together. That's what you're doing, Adam. Congratulations on 3 years, and here's to many more. Thank you, Stu McDude. It's been insane, you know, this journey. And at times it was difficult, and there was there's been a lot of kind of sleepless nights, a lot of pain at times. Not like physical pain, but just like kind of dragging myself forward, believing that this is the right course and that going forward is absolutely what is the right decision. And there was a time when I thought, you know, maybe I should go back to work. It was about 1.5 years in, and I was like, maybe I should go back to work and just keep this as like a part-time project type thing. I was very close to doing that, but then Games Workshop got in touch and were like, hey bro, we've seen what you've been doing. Can we send you some stuff to make your life a little bit easier? And I was like, yep. And at that point it was like, yeah, okay. It was worth it, because it was a huge relief to get there, because it means I can keep up making videos, you know. Because I love making videos, and I love painting new stuff, and I love supporting people with models that are yet to come out, because it's great. It's my favourite, but especially with how exciting everything is, all the new models all of the time. So like the Flesh Eater Courts are a great example. It's the type of thing which I would look at and before, and perhaps maybe not actually get, because I would be kind of a little bit too. I'd be like, oh, I have no idea how I would do that. You know, I didn't have confidence in my own ability, basically. Contrast paint obviously changed that. YouTube obviously changed that. I have a lot more confidence in how I paint now. It's very rare that a model comes through my door and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Croak was the last one where I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just have to go. And I started, and then it all kind of slotted into place. Eye of the Storms. Hello, I'm just stopping by to tell you that I love your videos. They are wonderful. I wish you all the happiness in the world. Oh, thank you, Eye of the Storms. It's very, very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Find what you love and let it kill you. Let it drain from you your all. Let it cling onto your back and weigh you down into eventual nothingness. Let it kill you and let it devour your remains. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's because for a while, most of the kind of burden of looking after us fell to Alice. I was doing all right to the point of where I could pay my half of the rent, but I couldn't do anything else basically, and now that's not the case, right? Well, and that wasn't the case. That had become less of the case about a year ago. So, it's been much more balanced. What I'd love to do is be able to take all of the financial burden of our livelihood and just, let Alice pursue whatever it is she wants to do. And we'll get there one day. But it's taken a lot of work, and I did feel like at 50 I felt a real sense of achievement, and I didn't feel like I thought I was going to feel, where I'd get to 50 and just be like, it's not enough, I must get more. I got to 50 and I was like, yeah. Alice, the sugar daddy, has entered the chat. Hey. Warhipster, your highest Patreon tier, how often are the one-to-one sessions? Generally, they're monthly, if you want them. So you'd have one sort of once a month. And helpfully, I can usually accommodate any time, because I'm up till 4 o'clock in the morning most mornings. Love your videos, best on YouTube. Currently painting Scar brand. Sick. I love Scar brand. That reminds me, I need to do Kairos Fate Weaver. Maybe that's a project we'll get done in December. I have the Lord of Change box. Need to build it. How is your reel doing, Al? Is it blowing up? Are you influencing? Let's have a look. For those of you who don't know, follow Alice on Mostly Harmless Minis on Instagram. See all of her lovely ghosts. I am back. Sorry, been playing DayZ. Nice. I've never played DayZ. I have literally no idea. Doesn't everyone post something and then run away from their phone for 6 to 8 hours? I do, but it's usually because I go back to work. Post and I'm done. Off to the next thing. Hello, Hunter. I'm very well. All hail George the Legend. Indeed, all hail George the Legend. I painted one of those dreadnoughts. And the other one is primed. Here it is. The Galatas. Galatas? This is the Galatas, isn't it? I did the Achilles, I'm pretty certain. I have the next George of the Dreadnoughts to do. It sits there on my to-do list, next to the Torments. I haven't really told you this out. Both Rich and Adam have come away from the weekend really into Age of Sigmar. Are you going to be playing more Realms of Ruin? Edward, I'd like to, yeah. I might do some more next week, depending on time. I might do some on Monday. Monday was a good time for it. I might do it during the day as well. I am scraping mold lines on the orc kill team. Help. Oh man, I don't envy you. I hate building. I would give you... I send you all my love and sympathy for the building that you're doing. Because building's hard. It's hard work. Forge World Titans. Yes. Do you like Tomb Kings? I do. I like Tomb Kings very much. And Look, I'm excited for the Bretonnians, don't get me wrong. The Bretonnians are really nice. They are really, really, really cool. However, Tomb Kings are just cooler. I think they're just a little bit more exciting. I mean, the Bone Dragon, man. the Bone Dragon is just unbelievable. And like the Pegasus character, gorgeous. Love it. Love it as a centerpiece. Is it a Bone Dragon though? No. But we'll find out. We still haven't seen the whole of the Doom King's range yet, have we? We haven't seen all of the new stuff like we have. Because we know everything that's coming for Bretonnians. And we know all of the old stuff as well that's coming back. So we know what's new and what's old. I don't think there's anything more. We don't know what that is for the Tomb Kings. And I'm excited to find out what that is. Just finished putting snow on my Gene Santa cultist. Awesome. Please do a Termi in High Fleet Typhon. I need it. I might be able to do you a Hormagaunt. Would that work? Oh, for fans of Lord of the Rings. So again, December is I'm literally biting off way more than I can chew. But I bought this at Warhammer World. Ayo. So I bought Elrond. So we'll get that done. I've got the Mordor battle forces. I've got the Minas Tirith battle force, and I've also got Get Off the Road because Ricky's an amazing dude. So I love Lord of the Rings, man. I want the new transparent ghost they announced. Oh, I do as well, Ishmael. I think I might buy because they won't send it to me because it's a stuff that we've already done. But I might buy the Osgiliath terrain set because with that plus the stuff that I've already done, just close that door. So I've done a tower, I've done a mansion, and I've done 5 ruins. But with all of that, I'll have an amazing Lord of the Rings table. What did you think of The Hobbit? I think it has its moments. Ultimately, it never reaches the highs of the Lord of the Rings. So, by that marker, it's not as good, obviously. I don't think the Hobbit films are necessarily bad. I just think they're a little disjointed because it's very clearly Guillermo del Toro's film directed by Peter Jackson. Whereas The Lord of the Rings is Peter Jackson's film directed by Peter Jackson. I think it's very clear. You can see that. Um, uh, so yeah, it's a little sad that The Hobbit never reached the same heights. Ricky, did you see? I think you asked me to do this before. I was gonna get Glorfindel as well, but I couldn't find him. And they had so much more. Oh yeah, exactly. So, it's things like you look at things like Azog and the Goblin King, and I think they're really good renditions of those characters. I think they look great. They just look like Guillermo del Toro's version of things, which is not a bad thing, but it just means to me The Hobbit feels like a cast and crew wearing someone else's shoes. Because I feel like you look at like the dwarves and stuff, they look a little bit more. Some of them look more like Peter Jackson came up with their ideas, and others look a little bit more like Del Toro did. So yeah, I think it's good. I don't think it's as good as the Lord of the Rings, because the Lord of the Rings, as I said to Alice earlier, the Lord of the Rings is a damn near perfect trilogy. The best trilogy ever made. It's my Roman Empire. I think about it all the time. Just the way it makes me feel, and the history I have with that trilogy of films and books, and I absolutely love it. I'm never ever gonna not love it, and it was always going to be tough to reach those heights with the Hobbit trilogy. What's your top 3 films? Oh God. Of all time, I can tell you some of my favorite films. I can't do a top 3. It depends what mood I'm in. So one of my favorite films is No Country for Old Men. And I love No Country for Old Men because of the way it's designed for its sound design. It is an absolute masterpiece from that perspective. I did music technology at university. I love music. I love music for film, love sound for film, all that good stuff. And No Country for Old Men is an absolute masterclass in how to do it. Because it just executes brilliantly. Like there's barely any score in it, if any at all. Which just means all of the sounds are so much more punctuated and so much more shocking when they happen, or so much more intense when they do. For those of you who've seen it, the scene in the hotel, all of the tension that is in that is because of the lack of music, right? It's not because of the presence of said music. If you had music there, you'd actually ruin the quality of that film. And I love the themes. I love the themes that are explored within that film as well. The idea of death coming to him on a pale horse, all that kind of thing. The dream of the sheriff. I just stellar performances all round in that film. I think it's absolutely fantastic. The Lord of the Rings as a trilogy is certainly up there. I don't have a film I dislike out of the 3. I have a section that I skip because I want to see more of the other section, and it's in the second film. Is I basically skip the Frodo and Sam bits in the second one if I just want to watch Helm's Deep, because I love it so much. Jason Antrobius, thank you very much for the 5. I had to pop in and ask, have you heard about the Army Painter Fanatic line they are about to come out with? I have, yeah. It sound in principle, if Army Painter are releasing new products and they're good, great. It's more paint options for more people, generally at an affordable price in lots of different local gaming stores. So good. The Fanatics is just it's a redesign of their war colors, isn't it, or whatever they're called. It looks exciting. And Mike's Painted Minis, thank you very much for being a member for 24 months. Our 2-year anniversary, Mike. You and I. We're going places. I'll ask you to marry me next year. I arrived late, so I don't know if you've said anything about it, but will there be more chapters of Tiny Marines tutorials? So I'm gonna so what I've got planned is I'm gonna do specific paint. So what you saw in that 24 hours video, I'm gonna give you actual videos for what's in there. So it won't be anything surprising because it's the footage that's in there, right? But it will tell you what brush size I use and what paint and when and this, that, and the other. So I'm going to divide that 24 hours video into 3 painting tutorials. The Legio Solaria, Salamanders, and the... did I say Legio Solaria already? Legio Solaria, Solar Auxilia, and Salamanders, right? So that's 3 painting tutorials of the contents of the box we've already got. My intention as well is to do House Procon Vi for the Knights, which I didn't get to do. And then I've got another box. I've got another box of Space Marines. What I would like to do is do a detachment of Space Marines for a different chapter, or a different legion, and a detachment of in that box for another legion as well. I did initially think Raven Guard and Iron Hands because I could do Shattered Legions and it would look pretty cool. But I'm open to suggestions. If there's one you specifically want to see, we can see if I can do that as well. I don't want to do any videos where it's just like painting one of the bases, because that doesn't feel like that's a good experience for all of you. It needs to be how to do all of it, right? So if you're going to pick it up, you'll want to see how to do a good chunk of what's in that box, right? So yeah. I will do more Legions Imperialis if more Legions Imperialis is what you guys want. As it stands, what is currently going to come out, perhaps the remainder of this week, is Salamanders, which you've already seen it in the 24 hours, but it's the specific painting video, so you don't have to worry about any of the other guff if you don't want to. I think I said Saturnine Rams for the Solar Auxilia and Legio Solaria Titans. It's my plan. What were we talking about? Films. We were talking about other films. Other films that are my favourite films. So, I really love Batman Begins, the first Christian Bale one. For a long time, I thought it was the best superhero movie ever made. And then Across the Spider-Verse came out. And I think Across the Spider-Verse is just an absolute triumph of filmmaking, animation, storytelling. It's unbelievably good. And I think the second film in that trilogy is going to be better once the third part is out. Because I really enjoyed the second film. I thought it was great, but it is absolutely 100% very clear one half of a story, because it is not tied up at all. Nothing is tied up at the end. There's no conclusion to it. There is a whole other Spider-Verse movie yet to come, which I think will make that film, once you see them both in tandem, will make those films hopefully an absolute joy. You prefer Batman Begins to The Dark Knight? I do, Kurt, and the reason being is because I think they're two completely different films. And I know that sounds stupid because they are two completely different films, but I think Batman Begins is a superhero movie, and The Dark Knight is an amazing thriller. I don't really see The Dark Knight as a superhero film because he doesn't do too much Batmaning, whereas I just think Batman Begins is like, as a Batman film, he is fully taking on the role of Batman in there, and it is very much a superhero film, I think. is why I prefer Batman Begins. That the Dark Knight is incredible. I just for me the Dark Knight isn't. It's less of a. Like I said, it's less of a superhero film and more of a thriller. Would be what I would say. The Lion King. The Lion King makes it into my top films of all time. Because it was I think it was my first, one of my very first films that I ever watched. And I was taken to the cinema to see it many, many times. As I was Toy Story 1. Toy Story would make it into my top films of all time. 100%. Terminator 2. Terminator 2 would make it in there. And then not because it's amazing, but Aliens. Aliens also makes it into my top films. And again, another film that I think a lot of people wouldn't say is the best one, but my first Star Trek film that I ever saw was First Contact, and it terrified me. It scared the pants off me as a kid. It was absolutely... It just... Oh, man. And I love it to this day. Like, the Borg creeped the out of me, still, even to this day. The Last Jedi, best movie ever. Oh, no. Okay. Whose idea was it to bring up Star Wars? Who asked? Who was the first person to mention Star Wars? Star Wars sequel trilogy, yay or nay? Philip, why would you do this? Iron Giant. Oh, yeah, the Iron Giant's fantastic. Iron Giant was a film we watched quite a bit as a kid. We also used to watch quite a lot. Poll time. What do you want the poll to be, Kurt? Listen. I know the people out there want me to release my 15-hour video about Star Wars and my opinion on it. And let me tell you, I don't think I can deal with making that video. Maybe I should just get it out of my system. I should just go all of Star Wars ranked. Try and keep it to less than an hour. Parts 1 and 2. Parts 3 and 4. Parts 5 and 6. I heard Josh loves Andor. Yep. Mark. Star Wars and I have a very complicated relationship. I love Star Wars to the point of where I want to put it out of its misery. Listen. Jimmy, are you a man after my own heart? That there's actually only 2 good Star Wars films. And the rest of them are middling to poor. Do a ranty tier list. Think of all the views. Well, exactly. That's how you get a. That's how you get a. That's how you get a 500,000 view video. You set fire to the world of Star Wars. No, look. This is the thing. How to get through this quickly. The thing for me about Star Wars is it should be really easy to tell stories in that universe. And to this day, they still can't seem to manage it in a way that makes sense. in a way that is of high quality, in a way that is interesting, in a way that has any stakes whatsoever, any tension. Because they are stuck. They are stuck making shows and films about a time period and about characters who you know what happens to. So there's no jeopardy. No jeopardy whatsoever for your main characters who you're supposed to care about. You're supposed to care about people like Andor, but Andor is a passenger in his own show. He does not need to be there. There is tension for everybody else apart from the main character. So you have to be more interested in everybody else, which then means in Andor, the main character you don't care about. So why is it named after him? And it's not like his is a sexy, recognizable name. It's a name people only remembered because it was in Rogue One, but they only remembered it after looking it up. Nobody went, oh yeah, no, I remember that guy. Because no one can remember anything from that film, apart from the awesome last 20 minutes. Everyone goes, oh, it's really great. It's got that Darth Vader scene. It's like, yeah, it's got that really great scene. Amazing scene. One of the best scenes in Star Wars by far. So, yes. Same for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show, there's no stakes. No stakes for anybody, and you don't spend any time with any characters where there are any stakes. You know where Darth Vader ends up. You know where Obi-Wan ends up. You know where Leia ends up. So stop trying to make it seem like they're going to be in any danger. Like, oh, we don't know if they've survived. Yes, we do. This is my problem with Star Wars. The reason the good stuff is good is because you don't know anything about it. Mandalorian Season 1 is almost peak Star Wars because it's a brand new story told with a recognizable character, but you've never heard of them before. You never see anybody else that you do recognize from the old show, and everybody in it has tension and stakes. You don't know what's going to happen. And then Season 2, oh boy. Season 2 is comprised of great moments and cameos, and the cameos are a problem. The Boba Fett show is not a good show, because the Boba Fett show consists of 3 different things all happening at once, one of which is really interesting, one of which is an advert for a different show, and the other one which is really boring. So Boba Fett's journey in the desert, where he's coming to terms with who he is and accepting a new family and growing as an individual, that's really interesting and compelling. The bit with Mando, where Boba Fett doesn't even feature in his own show for 3 episodes, or however long it is, 2 episodes, 3 episodes, I can't remember. But Boba Fett is not in an episode in his own show, which is just weird to me. It's not like that show earned its Doctor Who credit. Do you know what I mean? Because Doctor Who has had a couple of episodes where the Doctor is not in the episode, or is in it at the very end for 5 minutes or whatever. Boba Fett did not earn that. It told us one compelling story and one really boring story, where it brings in, again, endless cameos from the Clone Wars and from Rebels. And they're like, hey, you should care about this guy. And I'm like, I don't. I don't care. Give me someone else. Give me somebody brand new. Give me new stories that are not related to all the stuff we've already seen. I fundamentally don't care about what happened between the end of this film and the beginning of that film. I don't care. What I want to see is things like, do you know, like, there are so many great elements of the Han Solo film that are, it is a film that's such a Frankenstein, because it's like, if you didn't call it Han Solo, you'd have like a really cool heist in the Star Wars universe thing, like the whole bit with the train, which is great. if you just don't attach these people to it, if you don't put them in these areas and you actually create compelling new characters for us to enjoy in a massive universe where there's there's billions and billions and billions of people in the universe, and we only ever seem to follow the same 25. That's my issue. They've got solid gold IP. You can say we're gonna make a Star Wars film, and we've cast these people to be in it, and this is what they look like in the films. You can put pictures of them on the internet, and those people will go to Comic-Con dressed as those characters before they've even seen the film. We saw this with The Force Awakens. Before The Force Awakens had even come, Comic-Con had a load of people dressed as Rey, a load of people dressed as Poe, a load of people... Do you know what I mean? Like, loads and loads and loads and loads of people dressed as Finn. Just people cosplaying it as a character they don't even know if they like it yet. And that doesn't happen in any other... I can't think of any other IP that is capable of that amount of fan love. I mean, 25 is probably too many. It's generally the Skywalker family and various friends. But this is the point. It is the problem I have with Star Wars, because yeah, I love it when they tell a completely brand new, different story, which is why I'm actually really excited for Skeleton Crew, because I know nothing about it. Don't know who's in it. You don't know who they are. They are all, as far as I know, completely brand new characters. And that might be the best Star Wars that ever comes out, I reckon. Well, not ever, but it might be. Anyway, that's enough Star Wars. I could go on. So yeah. You've seen Bad Batch. Yeah, I watched the first series, and I thought the first series was quite good. I haven't watched the second series. Do you know what? Like, this is not just Star Wars. This is most things. I don't like anything where you have to defend it by saying this other piece of media makes it better. Marvel have done it very recently in phase 4 or 5 or whatever we're on, where in order for the multiverse of madness to make sense, you have to have seen WandaVision. And if you are a casual viewer, or you don't view things in different media, then you are... The piece of media does not stand on its own. So like... And that to me, you have to mark it down. Even if the payoff is good for the people who read that comic, or the people who saw that GIF, or the people who followed that web series, even if the payoff for that is good, it means nothing to anybody who hasn't seen that. Darth Jar Jar. WandaVision is an excellent show. WandaVision is a very, very, very... It is a very, very good show. It is. But if you haven't watched it, Multiverse of Madness is a terrible film that makes no sense. Because you're like, wait, What's happened? So if you go into it and if you didn't subscribe to Disney Plus because you thought, oh, it's fine, I don't need to watch the shows, I'm okay, I just like watching the films. You go in to watch Multiverse of Madness, you are very, very confused as to what's going on. And if someone then goes, oh, for this film to make sense, you have to actually have watched this TV show, but then it's really good. And it's like, no, it's not. It's not good. It's not a good thing. And Star Wars has suffered from it. Because everyone says the prequel trilogy is very, very good. Because you just have to watch Clone Wars. I'm like, come on now. I shouldn't have to watch 6 seasons of a cartoon show numbering in the hundreds of episodes to make a film, to justify a film's quality. You can't put that on me as the consumer or the audience member. It's not up to me. It's up to you providing the content. And that the first pass of it, let's admit it, wasn't great. Just say it, Phase 4 was a travesty. Yeah, Phase 4 has been listless. There's been no direction for it to go in. It's just kind of been like, oh, we don't know where we are. Which is a problem. It is a problem. And so, like, similarly, like, I've not watched Quantumania, but I know who turns up in Quantumania. In order for Quantumania to make sense for the villain, you have to have watched Loki. Loki is a great show. Quantumania is not a great film. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but this stuff is expected by the younger generation, in my opinion. The audience expect cross-pollinating content stuff. They do. There is a degree of that. For sure. I would also argue that, forgive me if I speak out of term, but some of the most compelling content for younger people these days, as is seen by the prevalence of things like TikTok, is short form content. So actually getting young people to commit to watching a film is more tricky now than it ever was before. And I'm not talking like kids or whatever. I'm talking sort of like 17, 18. Because they're more used to watching 60-second videos on TikToks. So, these are just kind of more generally, but these are the trends we're seeing in media right now. So, don't be surprised. Do not be surprised if there comes a piece of content in an IP, in a franchise or whatever, where in order for the film to make sense, you have to have watched this TikTok. Guarantee. Just hopping on the stream. I hope you're all doing well. Happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Oh, thank you, the Mini Creative, and happy Thanksgiving to you too. Yeah, I'm waiting for the day when IP delivers, when a franchise delivers its some interesting story beats through the medium of TikTok. I think it will happen, and I'll be very surprised if it doesn't. Choose your own adventure movie, all done in TikToks. Yeah, I mean that would be sick. Netflix tried it, didn't they? With oh, what's it called? I can't remember the name of it. They did a choose your own adventure, didn't they? They did a couple because the Kimmy Schmidt movie was a choose your own. It was a Black Mirror film, wasn't it? That's what it was called. Jabberwock. Yeah, is that the one? "'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogroves, and the mome raths outgrabe." I used to know the whole poem. It used to be my party trick. What film made you cry? Oh goodness me, so many. So, I to this day still cannot watch Toy Story 3 without crying. Every time, without fail. Just if I put the film on, I will sob. And specifically, it's the moment when Andy looks in the box, having described all of the toys, and he looks in the box, and he sees Woody, and he doesn't want to. I'm doing it now. And he has that moment where he doesn't want to pass him over, and then he goes, "Now this is Woody," and oh. It gets me. It gets me every time. Yeah. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings can, if I'm not expecting it, make me cry. Specifically the music of the Lord of the Rings. You know, Theoden's fall, the charge of the Rohirrim on the Pelennor. My friends, you bow to no one. It's that Sarah McLachlan song that gets me in Toy Story. Yeah. Yeah. When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour we spent together lives within my heart. Oh, God. Yeah, I just... Oh, man. God, it's pretty hard when you try and think about it. I remember seeing The Return of the King the first time in the cinema, and I couldn't hold it. Just couldn't. It just fell apart. Dings off the propeller in Titanic. I mean, it is pretty funny. It is a slapstick death after all. Yeah, Lion King. Yep. Again, so much of it for me is tied to music. Like music just can absolutely ruin a fella. Just a certain way that a certain thing hits at a certain time, at a certain point, it can absolutely destroy me. Like a very incredibly emotional moment is Road to Perdition. Is it Road to Perdition? Yeah, Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks. towards the end. I watched Guy Ritchie's The Covenant last night. That almost got me. What was the show that Alice and I watched recently? I mean, another great example, The Detectorist. The Detectorist nearly got me on a couple of occasions. You know, fundamentally it is a comedy, but there are some deeply emotional moments in the show. How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, yeah. Dun 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 dun. Man, How to Train Your Dragon. The ending of number 3. Oh, it's powerful, powerful stuff. Yeah. So that's what they do, though, don't they? That's why those. That's why the animated films, like Pixar films and all that, they're so good, because they get you. They get you right in the feelings. You know. I mean, Up is a classic. Up's very sad at the beginning. Inside Out, the ending is deeply cynical. The Inside Out, when I came out of having watched Inside Out, I watched that one at the cinema. When I came out of the cinema having just finished watching it, I was like, "That's such a cynical future." Oh God, we have all grown up that way, and I wish we could all be more joy and less anger and sadness. And I know the whole thing is about, you know, accepting that there's multiple parts of your body, parts of you, and that you will continue to grow, and that people should grow and you should move on. You can't always be one thing all of the time. But man, Inside Out makes you just go, oh. I did see they're doing Inside Out too, and I don't know if it's going to work. Mrs. Doubtfire used to do something to me. It's the way she tells a story at the end. It's about divorce. It's funny, isn't it? Just how much these things affect us. Those goddamn execs in Hollywood knowing how to tweak our emotional heartstrings. How about books? Out there, has anybody you ever cried at a book? Have you ever read The Edge Chronicles? Anyone ever read those? Because I genuinely can never find anyone who's ever read them. And it bothers me. Because I adored them. Adam, how is it that we've spoken as often? How have we never talked about this? So when did you read the Edge Chronicles? Did you read them as a young adult? Did you read them as YA? So, for those of you who've never read it, I'm going to say one word to Adam. And I think it happens 3 times. But at least on the 2 that I can remember very clearly in my head, both those occasions, I was inconsolable having read them. The Banderbear. There's some early childhood trauma for you. Some young adult trauma for you, Adam. See? He's now remembering. It's all coming back. A flashback. I think it happens in all 3, doesn't it? Yeah, there's Hubble, Goom, and the unnamed one. Yeah. For the Edge Chronicles, I read it in order of I read Beyond the Deep Woods. So I read the Twig trilogy first, which I think is how they were published. So Beyond the Deep Woods, what's it called? Storm Chaser, and then Midnight over Santafrax. That was those are the best 3. Is there a reason why I can't subscribe to your channel? I can't get the option up on mobile. It might be that you need to do it through the browser rather than through the app. If you're on an iPhone, Google sometimes is a bit funny about it. And actually, if you do it through the browser, it will be cheaper. Because if you do it through the iPhone app, the Apple takes a Apple takes a cut, so it costs more that way. Whoa. I've never been reading those 3 books. I've never been more terrified of little fuzzy orange creatures. And if you read the Beyond the Deep Woods, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I would thoroughly recommend it. That is a full-on piece of... That is some Warhipster history right there from when I was a very, very little bambino that I read those books. Absolute floods of tears. Exactly, Adam. Wigwigs. Terrifying. Horrifying. That and the Gloam Glozer. Yep. Yep. Well, and getting lost in the twilight. Guys, just go and read Beyond the Deep Woods. Go and read the Edge Chronicles. Beyond the Deep Woods. Storm Chaser and Midnight over Santafrax. God, there's loads of these. So I think I've read the Twig trilogy and the Rook Barkwater trilogy. I'm not sure I've read all of them. I don't think I have. I must have read Cloud Wolf, Curse of the Gloamglozer, and the Winter Nights as well. Must have done. Anyway. The Deptford Mice. Never has a ginger cat been so terrifying. Do you know, I've never heard of it. Warhipster. Yeah, that's me tonight. Oh dear. Ooh. Well, that yawn probably signals that it's time to end. Because it is 11:15. Hey, there's Liam. Hey, Liam. You're a very lovely man, Liam. I was being very, very nice about you earlier. And I will still continue to be very, very nice about you. Because you're an absolute lad. A top quality human. I was saying to the chat earlier, I'm so excited to see what you provide now. The platform that you've got is unbelievable. Now, with the new studio. Yeah, it's a studio birthday. Oh. I'm just super excited for you, man. But yeah, I am coming to the end. Let's figure out a oh, I've just hurt my shoulder. Let's figure out a time to do that in the new year, Liam. I'll come down for a whole day and a half, or 2 days. We'll figure out a way to do it. Ah, Ishmael, thank you very much for becoming a member. That's very, very kind of you. 323. That is a really nice number. Advice, please. Which contrast should I use over grey to replace Dawnstone? Oof. That's a hard one. Annoyingly, there isn't an exact replacement for Dawnstone. So, really what you have to do is you have to thin down Basilicanum Grey by like 1, maybe 2 parts to get close to Dawnstone, because Dawnstone has got a slight hint of blue, because Mechanica Standard Grey is a bluish grey. It's dark bluish grey. Not quite as dark as, say, Incubi Darkness or anything like that, but it is a dark bluish grey. So Dawnstone has got hints of blue in it, and so does Administratum Grey. So it's quite hard to deal with, because you'd think Space Wolves Grey would do it, but it doesn't. That's more towards Rust Grey and Fenrisian Grey. So really what you need to do is you take Basilicanum Grey, thin it down a little bit to get close, but it's not quite there. So what you end up having to do is thin down Basilicanum Grey like 1 or 2 parts, and then use something like Drakenhof Nightshade over the top to add those elements of blue. But it's really tough, because there's not a precise replacement for Dawnstone just yet. That's not a never say never type thing. It may happen. You too are an amazing human, Mr. Liam Dempsey. Oh, would you look at that? We're 1 subscriber away from 51,100. That's exciting. Ah, there it is. Subscribe now! Woo! Rez, if you're still here, I swear to God, if you unsubscribe now, I'll be really annoyed. That's his usual trick. Watch it go down. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh no, it didn't happen. There it is, 51,099. Been sweating on CS2 not watching stream. Cameron, I understand. You got to get that workout right. Oh look, 2 people have unsubscribed now. Thank you. Oh, we get there and then the universe takes it away. Oh, and then we're back up to 51,099. This is the dangerous thing about being a YouTube content creator is you sit and you look at the numbers and they go up and they go down and they go up and they go down, and when they go down it's like ah, and when they go up it's like yay. So you're sat there constantly chasing all of that wonderful adrenaline from the lovely the dopamine hit. From the number going up and going down, and then it goes down, and then it's sad, and then it goes back up, and you're very, very happy. And then YouTube, for some reason, decides one day they're just going to delete a bunch of accounts, and it's awful. Which is why when it gets to things like when I hit numbers like 50,000, I don't immediately post about it because I know that if I do, I will refresh the app and I'll be back down to 49. Oh. do you I'm gonna make a confession, right? Rather than learn how YouTube Studio works, because it's a terrible app at times, I keep a note. I keep a note on my phone so that I can track on a weekly basis. So I can track it on a weekly basis. What my things are, so that I can then create averages in my head, and then I can figure out what the total will be after a year. So I'll tell you what I'm at this week. So this week we are on. This is awful. This is awful micromanagement and obsession is what it is. We are on 102. So that is 51,102 minus 50,855. 247 subscribers we've had this week, so in the last 3 days. So if I divide that by 3 and then I times that by 7, it means on average a week I will get 576 new subscribers a week. And then if I times that by a year, 52, that means I should this time next year be sat on 80,000 subs. And it's a terrible thought exercise because you end up just being like, oh no, because it hasn't happened. Liam, oh man, thank you very much for the gifted 5. Do you know what you've done? That means that is 69 new members today. That is fantastic. We got our 69 likes. We got our 69 new members. Nice. You have a spreadsheet for it. Do you download the data and put it into the spreadsheet to create your totals? I think I knew subconsciously. Nice. Nice. 69 new members. That would be lovely. A 69 a day keeps the debt collector at bay. I was having a chat with a friend of mine this morning actually about that. He was like, if you were in extreme amount of debt, do you think someone could? Do you think a bailiff could come to your house and recover the money quite easily? And I was like, no, because the value of the plastic, regardless of whether it's painted, you go right. Well, that's 25 quid. Do you know what I mean? It's not. Oh, that's painted to Josh's standard, so that's worth 100. You can't sell art that way. It's bedtime for you, Liam. We should play some games. Maybe this weekend or something. I'll buy Modern Warfare 3 if you do. Or we just make Joe play Modern Warfare DMZ. So yeah, the terrible practices of being a YouTuber that's obsessed with growth. Because of course you know what happens is if you don't then get those, if you don't then get those 29,000, this time next year, if I'm not sat on 80k, I'm like, ugh. But yeah, I do need to run. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Liam. Right at the end there, just go through our little bit of thank you time. So thank you very much, Rock Golem, Big Bad, Peter Gaming, Captain Manrings, Umail Angmar, Kings Layang, Rex, Ricky Colebrook, Kurt, John McCardle, Vicious Goose, AJR, Trout, 187, Awful Gamer, Tim Chaser, Stick Monkey, Cursed Cowboy, John H, Don, Scott GB, DKM2, Kianon, Alchemy NZ, Barros Forge, Jarl Grimnar, Alex Randall, Tim Chaser, Jason Antrobius, Mike's Painted Minis, Ishmael Bjorkmo, and Liam Dempsey for all your amazing support. And I love you very much. Thank you so much. And I will see you all very, very soon for another stream. We might do one on Monday to play some more Realms of Ruin. But right now I have to go back to painting. So I will see you all very, very soon in the next one. Guys, kick ass. Love you very, very much. Bye for now. Gonna wave at the screen until it ends. Bye for now. Love you, bye. Bye, bye. Bye, bye. Bye. Bye for now. Bye. 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 Bye.